I'm Carmen Edilza Ortiz Sanchez, and this work is done according to what was said by Mr. Tommins. He talks about the materials that are important in learning new languages, in the case English. What should English language learning ELT material have? According to Tomlinson, three aspects should be taken into account as a basis for the study of a new language. What should be provided to the students? How to provide? What should be done to encourage language learning? The teacher must worry about knowing his student so that he takes into account his expectations, strengths, and weaknesses. Teacher and students' confidence is important for the teaching learning relationship and allows the teacher to be prepared for any situation that occurs in class in cases such as direct or indirect teaching, preventive, facilitating, receptive, or solvable, and also because it must recognize when the learning is conscious, unconscious, if there is knowledge about the language system and about the use of language. All these characteristics will allow the teacher to follow up the learning and the correct corrections and recommendations. For my experience, I can say that teacher must also take into account the family environment, the needs and the environment of students. In this way, you can avoid the abandonment of learning for reasons external to the institution. According to Krashen, experience must be gained in the use of language for the different activities in which can be used. Spoken and writing text, exposure of all basic characteristics of the language in the text. The information should not be reduced. The difficult part should not be eliminated to avoid that the learning is complex. The information must be real according to what is intended to be learned. Large texts are recommended. Read and ask questions. The principle two for Arnold students must feel and think as they experience language. Feeling and connection and interpretation always allows the student to better acquire the language. Use text that all commitment. The student should think about what they are reading and think about it personally. The activity must produce feeling for before, after, and during the use of the new language. You can use spoken or writing but attractive text. You can prepare activities with indication of what will be done and another after to finish the activity. Principle 3. For Arnold, language learners should be positive about the target language, about their learning environment, about their teachers, about their learning partners, and about their learning materials. Text and activities should be pleasant and interesting. The proposed challenge must achievable. The response to the activity I can be motivated with music, literature, Some students can choose the text they want to work on. Principle 4. You can relate the image and knowledge of the L1 as learning tools for L2. Perform activities in which mental reflection and use, and then use them in experiment. A student can realize the use of the language elements themselves and can become more involved in learning. The teacher performs activities to help the student increase their discovery. Principle 6. The student can use their learning effectively in communicating with others. The teacher checks that the use of language goes beyond what has been learned. The use of language must be fluid and effective. Activities must include feedback, and the activity can gather all the learned characteristics, writing, oral, large text. Conclusion. I can conclude according to the reading of the text of Mr. Tomlinson that for the success of the learning of an L2, we must take into account everything we have learned, all the experiences lived, the memories also count, all the text that we like, the song and movies that we can see and hear, besides taking advantage of all the contact we can with those who already know how to speak the L2 that we want to, or that they are studying, can provide us with new material. Thank you very much.